NXT took place last night from its home at Full Sail University, and the show is built around a big main event, which is Charlotte Flair against Bianca Belair. And I think both of them are great. I'd like to see a bigger feud with them on the main roster. I wish they wouldn't have wasted it on NXT, but I guess they wanted to pop a rating last night. But you get this match. It was solid. That was the main event. But before we get there, we'll talk about the show, which started before that. Start off with Cameron. Well, the show actually started off with Charlotte Flair pulling up an SUV where she was greeted by William Regal before the show started. And then, of course, once you get to the arena, you have Cameron Grimes and Dominic Dijakovic. Dijakovic loses to Grimes. Oh, man, I don't know what they're doing to Dijakovic. I thought they were going to push him big, but after he lost to Keith Lee, he loses to Cameron Grimes. I guess Cameron Grimes maybe faces Keith Lee at the show in Tampa Bay. Finn Balor comes to the ring. He rips his internet, talks about how he's not a stooge. He's the guy. He's done everything already. He's mentioned Japan next to all the WWE titles he's won. Long promo. And then eventually you have Marcel Bartholomew come there, and he gets into a fight with him. And then you have two Imperium members with him. And Barcel, what's the other guys? Wolf, not Walter. Wolf, I don't think Walter's or Bartel, Eichner, and Wolf. I think, was it the one who had the concussion anyway? It was the other two. It was not Wolf. It was Eichner and Bartel who attacked him. They show a vignette for a new NXT wrestler. We're not sure who it's going to be. They show Bianca Belair backstage, and she's very satisfied that Charlotte accepted her challenge. It was a good interview by her, and they showed her not backstage, outside of the arena. Zia Lee against Mia Yim. Zia Lee gets the win. I don't know what they're going to do much. I don't know if they have much to do with them. Anyway, after Zia Lee won, the reason it happened was because you had Dakota Kai distract her with Raquel Gonzalez. Then Gonzalez beats up Lee and Yim, leaving a few extra shots, and she lays a few extra shots into Yim. And then I guess it's set up for Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox's steel cage match, which is apropos because that's where the feud really started inside. It was a War Games match, had a cage above the ring. That's where Dakota Kai kills Tegan Nox's knee there. They show Velveteen Dream cutting a promo. You have Tommaso Ciampa against Austin Theory. Crowd hates Theory. They love Ciampa. It's crazy how 2 years ago it was "fuck you Ciampa, Johnny Wrestling, fuck you Ciampa." That's what the atmosphere was. Now 2 years later, it's like the opposite. It's like "fuck you Johnny" and Ciampa. That's funny. It's completely changed around. I thought that's actually really interesting how they did it, but it's not going to be as good as the feud 2 years ago. I loved the first match at New Orleans. I don't think the match at Tampa will be as good, but we'll see what they do with them. Ciampa gets the win. Obviously, we knew it was a solid match. Backstage interview, Undisputed Era airs next. It was okay. Killian Dane against Bronson Reed. Killian Dane gets the win. I'm just not a fan of Killian Dane. I don't think he's really much there. Grizzled Young Vets. They show a Broserweights video package. Grizzled Young Vets against the Forgotten Sons. Again, Grizzled Young Vets with the win. Don't really care much about Forgotten Sons. They go backstage. We see Zach Gibson or whatever, setting up stuff. They go to Tegan Nox and interview. Who's the interviewer? Is that chick? That new girl. I forget her name. I think she's doing an interview. Anyway, Tegan Nox, she explains how her feud with Dakota Kai will end next week inside a steel cage. So you have like two big women's main events on the 2 weeks. You have Charlotte Bianca this week, and next week you have Dakota and Tegan inside a steel cage. That'll probably be the rubber match. The first was the match they had on NXT a few weeks ago, which Tegan won. Of course, they had the street fight at Portland. Of course, Dakota wins that. This will be the rubber match to end the feud. I think Dakota most likely. So like she's gonna get a big push with Raquel Gonzalez. Kind of reminds me of like AJ Lee and Tamina. That's what I think of there. That's what they remind me of. So main event time: Charlotte Flair against Bianca Belair. Man, this felt like a huge match. They are really having a damn. Yeah, it feels like a main event type of a big women's match. Had a big match feel to it. And I thought they did well here. I really liked the match. Had a big match feel. Charlotte is doing really well there. They had someone yelled at the fan. She yelled something back. I don't know what it was. The fans are more into Bianca. They chanted EST for a while. I thought they did really well in this matchup here. They had there was a cool handicap moonsault by Bianca Belair onto Charlotte. Charlotte misses a moonsault but lands on her feet, and Charlotte gets a A Boston Crab on Bianca Belair. Man, I keep missing this. Eventually, Bianca gets a spear. She fights back. Charlotte hits a spear on her own, and she gets the one with the spear. I thought this was a very good match. I really liked it. She went on after the match where Charlotte attacks Bianca Belair with a chair, and NXT champion Rhea Ripley comes out and makes a save for Belair and sets up the match at WrestleMania. So Charlotte's clearly the heel. Rhea's going to be the face. Interested to see what they do at WrestleMania with Charlotte and Rhea, but that's how the show ends. That was actually a very good show, and I enjoyed the show this week. And of course, it sets up next week's show, which is the main event Steel Cage. I'm looking forward to that.